Hello, hello. Hey, Matt. So it's Tuesday. We're going to be doing some more tasks. I also did not finish something up. Oh, and I need to. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah, I need to finish something from yesterday that I got a little bit stuck on, and I had. Oh, Kevin's here. Thanks. You too. Hey, Wanakis. Hi, everybody. So yesterday I got a little bit stuck on something, and then right before I fell asleep, I thought of, oh, I could do this tomorrow. But I now need to remember what this was because I thought, well, I'll just remember that. And I probably will. So let me take a look. We had this concept of showing a tooltip, and it was only once it's visible. Okay, yeah. So that we're not calling syntax. Okay, I think I need to just properly debug this and figure out what's happening here. Because I'll show the problem. Hey, BC. I'll show the problem that we have. And then I kind of shortcutted looking into this and just thought, oh, I'll just work on the solution, which makes no sense if you don't know what the problem is. And yeah, so it's this. When you switch from, oh, actually, that's the problem right there. Oh, maybe because I made a change though. Yeah, this is all fine. This is fine. This is probably not fine. We should probably delete this. Okay. Standing o'clock, you know it. Hey, Chef Alton. Yeah, I think it's good to at least start my day this way. Get a few hours of standing in. All right. This is still wrong. Something weird is happening. This actually makes me think that maybe there's just an overlapping collider here because now there are no changes, right? Oh, well, that doesn't matter. This should be it though. This should just be a naming change. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't think that was broken this way before, but I don't see anything else that could cause this. I guess what we could do is we could just stash all of this. There, now we definitely don't have any changes. So now whatever I see is the original problem that we had. I do want to fix this sort of thing. It has confused people in the past. It's not the most pressing bug, but I started working on it and I'd like to finish it. Yeah. So this is the issue. We hover over the lever. The lever is selected, but it's showing us the tooltip for the key grinder. There's some way to hover over this. Yeah, there. And just have that show up. So what is going on? Key grinder. There's a clickable area here. Where is this? It extends all the way out to the left, so that's the problem we have? So this is just an ordering problem. Hey, Sockton. Good morning. Oh, man. I thought this was different. Yeah, I thought this was different. All right, well, we've got some notes down here about this stuff, right? Yeah. Update. It's the next day. I realized that for the key grinder, actually, this is probably a problem on the extractor too. Let's go take a look. Extractor. Yes, it is. For the item machines, their collision area includes the levers area. And as we found out yesterday, the order isn't guaranteed. So I wonder what we should do here. Okay, so like option one would be listen for any collision and wait a frame before showing the tooltip. Have the item machine prioritize the levers tooltip over the bodies. Option two would be change the collision areas so that there's no overlap. Hey, Athletics. Good morning. Yeah, I think option one is probably better. But man, this is quite the issue here. Area 2D mouse enter and mouse exit signals emit in wrong order. They've said without a significant architectural change that this isn't going to get updated. So there's no way to control the priority. So you handle this yourself. which I don't like the idea of that. Today's the 30th, right? Yeah, today's the 30th. The reason I titled today's stream Happy Old Year is because tomorrow when I stream, it might be the new year for some people, and I didn't want them to be confused. So today is the last day I can definitely say it's the old year for everybody. And hey, Mike, Kamar. Yeah, so I'm leaning toward 1. So what would we do here? The lever would just emit... Oh, it's got a tooltip on parent. It wouldn't have that anymore. So lever would emit a mouse hovered event and stop mouse hovered. And then the extractor would save whether it got that on the last frame and whether its own event was triggered. Then on the next frame, it would process the prior frame and show the appropriate tooltip based on which was set. All those people live in fake time zones. You're telling me that that person on Mars who's watching, those people on Mars, not just person, I'm very popular on Mars, that they don't count? I hate this solution. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Because I'd like to have a generic way of doing this, and I don't know what that generic way would be. Yeah, I guess maybe this could be improved by having a like hover prioritizer node that just takes in a bunch of area 2Ds. Okay, this is slightly better, I think, and knows how to handle them and emit a single event out of it. I kind of like that. That way we have a more generic way of doing this. Okay, how about this? Let's back up a little bit. Let's check in what I've done so far. And then let's work from a clean slate, and I think we test out this. Unfortunately, I don't see this being any shorter than like 40 minutes. So I'm very torn on this. I think we should do this. Change name of function. The function name has a plural in it from when we had multiple crystals in the enchanter. This is pretty minor. Have you ever broken a bone? I'm not sure. And hi, Leftist. What a question to ask. Did you recently break a bone and you're like, I wonder of all the people I know, who else has broken a bone? Do you wanna? Yeah, I'll fight you. I think that sounds wholesome. I will warn you, though, I'm very good at winning. Very good. Unreasonably good. All right, so this doesn't matter. Can you imagine if that's how fights started? Excuse me, sir, fancy a fight? Yes, I do believe I do fancy a fight. And I believe I fancy one with you. Do we ever do this anywhere else? I wonder. Tooltip on parent. Tooltip? We do. Ooh, I don't like that. And we do it in a few places. Well, actually, not that many. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of 8, but I modified one myself. So really 3 out of 8. Might be some kind of bone expert. Can't be an expert until you've broken one. How far does this extend? Can you only be an accountant if you've tanked a company's funds? But other people's, yeah, does that count? I've broken many bones. More than 206. I kind of want to rename these. This is not at all the point of what I'm doing here, but I'm going to do it because I think this will make this clearer. Tooltip on parent tooltip equals. This is the last one? How's that possible? All right. Anywhere else that we do this? No. But we do call these other ones just tooltips. All right. You know what? This is a waste of time. We're not doing this. Yeah, this is a waste. Yes, it's confusing, but I don't care. So I would like to get to this whole hover prioritizer. And I could write a whole bunch of comments in this thing. And I have an idea for how this is going to play out. So let me just jot this down really quickly. So the problem is that we have a lever and an extractor that overlap. We want to prioritize the lever when you hover over the two of them. Oh yeah, and then Godot doesn't guarantee order of mouse enter and mouse exit. We want to prioritize a lever when you hover over the two of them. So solution comes in, make a hover prioritizer. It takes in a priority queue of area 2Ds or collision object 2Ds and emits a single event with which was hovered. Yeah, I like that. Hey, Goose. Have you never made broken code before? I have. I see your point, and you're correct. This extends to everything. Very astute of you, Leftist. Very astute. Should rename yourself to Astucious. All right, so hover prioritizer is just a node itself. Is there a better way of doing this? Does this even need to be a Godot node? I think so. Otherwise, it will have no idea of how frames work. Yeah. That's very astute of you. Hey, remember B-Boy? Whatever happened to him? Are you still doing... I say that like I can't just message him, but are you still doing Pathfinder with him? Like in your right hand now would probably not be good for productivity. But necessity is the mother of invention. What if it causes me to get triple the speed? What if I lean on boneless AIs? Yeah, all right, we're going to go make this. I'm actually kind of excited to make this because I think this is an interesting solution to the problem. So this is going to be called Hover Prioritizer. And it's going to have a script, and we'll figure all this stuff out. So where do we put this? Maybe we call this like helpers? Godot helpers? I don't know. I'm just going to call it helpers. That's kind of stupid. Yeah, it's kind of not stupid. I don't know. Let's just call it helpers. Okay, so hover prioritizer. Save. Okay, now we attach a script to it. Source UI helpers hover prioritizer. Okay, create. Before I forget, let's go save this. All right, namespace game source UI helpers. I stepped back from the game we were playing because of life stuff. Last we talked, they're expecting a baby. Wow. You're just publicly sharing this news in my stream. Well, congrats to them. Prepping for a Daggerheart game. What's that? Daggerheart, game masters ask questions of their players, so every world map and adventure is built collaboratively. Have you broken a bone? Is one such question they might ask. Interesting. Hey, Matthew Mercer is one of the designers. I recognize that name. I don't think I recognize the other names. Posted in his Discord? Ah, yes, which I have linked to my Twitch stream. Have any secret life information I can share on other streams, by the way? Nope, none. None whatsoever. Never will. All right, so we're initializing with the priority queue. I actually don't know. I've never used this in C#. I'm guessing it exists. It does exist. T element and T priority represents a collection of items that have a value and priority. On DQ, the item with the lowest priority value is removed. Okay, so how's this going to work? I'm not actually totally sure how this is going to work. I think we passed this in. A priority queue of collision object 2D to int collision objects. And we probably save this off. Again, I'm a little fuzzy on how this is going to operate here, so let's figure this out together. You insert items, and while inserting them, you insert them with a priority, and then when DQ. Oh, no, that part I understand. I know how priority queue works. What I'm a little confused by here is we're going to pass in the collision objects, but it's actually not these that have a priority. It's their events that do, and the events have no concept of priority. So I need to, every frame, push to a priority queue that we keep track of. So maybe this should just be a list that's in order of priority. That probably makes more sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So let's do that. So private list of collision object 2D. This will be collision objects. And then we have a priority queue of maybe this, like collision, remind me later, collision events or something like that, equals new. And then here we just take in the list of collision objects. Okay, I think that'll work. So to do, write a comment about this, write a comment about this, write a comment about the whole class, actually. All right, now what's the problem with this? Make field read only? It could be. Yeah, it could be. Name does not exist. Read-only field cannot be assigned to. Yeah, I know. I'm not applying my brain. Okay. So now we need a physics process. And this is going to do something based on the events we got from in here. So now for each, this is a collision object. Do we not have mouse entered and mouse exited on these things? Oh, thank goodness. Okay. We need a way of disposing this hover prioritizer too, where it removes these. Okay, take care, Leftist. Have a good time playing Daggerheart. To do, clean these up. Yeah, let's not worry about cleaning these up for now. So on mouse entered, what are we going to do here? We eventually want to emit an overall on mouse entered. So public action. We take in a collision object 2D. Like on mouse hovered. And then mouse stop hovered. I don't know. This is probably stupid naming. I don't mind all these to-do items collecting up because these are all like very easy things to finish. So let's just try to get the bulk of this working. All right, so first thing we need to collect a collision event based on the order of the thing in this list. Index equals 0, index plus plus. So in this case, this is on mouse entered. So we need to enqueue a type of event. So it's like collision object and a Boolean. Yeah, I don't know if I like this. But whatever. Let's just figure it out. And I don't care about this stuff. And then the opposite happens over here. Cool. So that is working. Now we have to process the events. So we just want to we want to dequeue 1 var highest priority event, or like, yeah, event, I guess. And let's give this the right type, which should be an object and a Boolean. Yeah, so it's more like, can I write this better? Yeah, that's probably fine. And then we want to clear out the events. And then I want to emit something based on this. So if this dot, yeah, this is a stupid way of writing things. I should write it as like highest priority object and bool did enter is entered. Yeah, that's better. So now this doesn't exist. And now we say if is entered. Okay, so this is it. This is what the class looks like. I think this is pretty reasonable. Yeah, this is pretty decent. And I'm pretty happy about this. And I should probably post about this in the issue. Maybe post code for my hover prioritizer. If it works. Oh, and what we should do when we test this stuff. Test this to make sure we can invert the priority. Just to see if it's working. We don't need to invert the priority. I just want to see if I'm going to post this code. All right. So now we go make a hover prioritizer from the item machine. Oh, this is going to change everything. This is why I said this can't be less than 40 minutes. Because we currently have tooltip on parent. We need to not do that. I don't like that at all. All right, well, how about we make the hover prioritizer first. So maybe this is protected. I don't actually know. Just start it here. Would we know? I don't have any idea. This code looks great. Who cares if it works? So we'd make a node for this? Yeah, I guess so. Item machine instantiated in a hover prioritizer. Okay, now we fetch it. Then we need to initialize it with the lever and this thing's body. This isn't going to work. And none of this is going to work. Where do we get the tooltip for this? Oh, great, right there. It's a clickable area. Wait, no, that's the lever. How do we get our clickable area? Oh, we don't have a tooltip on this. What? Huh. Yeah, that's true. We don't have a tooltip on this. So then how do we manage tooltips? Interesting. This is how we're going to end up doing it for the lever too, I think. So how do we know that we've even... Oh, there's mouse entered. Where's that? Item drop zone. Okay, that's not what I would expect. What is the item drop zone? It's this blue one? Really? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what we use. But wow. All right, so now the lever needs a way of getting its area, which is called clickable area, but lever doesn't ever get that. Doesn't save it. Okay, well, we can make that public, I guess. Public clickable area, clickable area. Get private set equals null. Okay, so fetch this from ready. And get it from here. So the lever has higher priority, and then we listen for this. Mouse hovered. So if the object is the... Oh, that's what I thought of before I went to sleep, which is that we checked in the lever about the source. I think the source is actually something different, but it doesn't matter now because I think we'd have a problem here no matter what. Anyway, if it's a lever, then we're just going to do print, yeah, hovering lever. And if it's the other one, then we're going to print hovering item drop zone. And then same thing over here. Mouse stop hovered, stopped hovering, and stopped hovering. All right, I think this will work. Let's go try it. And if this does work, then all we have is a bunch of cleanup that we have to do, which is going to be tedious, but it won't be hard. Please work. Please work. Come on. Come on. Oh, everything's breaking. What happened here? Oh, because we didn't check to see if there are items. Whoops. My bad. Yeah, so this is only if collision events I count as 0 return. Sounds good. Let's try that again. I assume that's what the problem was. I didn't even look at it, but yeah, sounds pretty reasonable that it would be that. Yeah, it was that. Okay, so we hover over the lever. And what does it say? Hovering lever. Yeah, good. Now I hover over this. It just says stopped hovering lever. It does not say that you... Oh, because that's... Yeah, because first you hover over the item drop zone. Then you hover over the lever. Very interesting. I think it's working. Oh, man. Okay, so now, like I said, we got to do the tedious stuff. So lever has a tooltip on parent, but no longer because we can't rely on that working. So we would delete this, I think. I think we do. Yeah, I think we have to delete this. Okay. So now this goes away. And everything that referred to it has to change. If tooltip is showing update tooltip. We wouldn't have a way of doing this, would we? No, we could. But I don't think I need to do that. Hey, maybe it'll show up in the afternoon. I don't know. I wonder, did yesterday's stream carry into today for you? And maybe that's why it's not doing that? I'm not sure. I don't know where it counts the distinct days if you're across time zones. But hi, Rami. Yeah, so we got a little bit of an issue here. Event should not follow property. Sure. Actually counts individual streams. No, but it's in a given day, right? So like if I stream 20 times in a day, I don't think it gives you a 20 stream streak. I think that only counts as 1. Wait, is it 2 in the streak? All right, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. All right. So we have all this update tooltip here, but really the tooltip, I think only needs to get updated here and then that's it. Oh, no, if you click it while you're hovering over it, nothing's going to change this. Oh, I see. Okay. Maybe I obviously didn't understand the system. So need to make sure the tooltip changes when you click while it's showing. I think for this, we just need to know, we need to pass in a tooltip. And we have this. So we can just use, what is this thing? Whoops, it's supposed to be an underscore. It is a tooltip. And does a tooltip have a concept of a source? It does. Oh. Oh. Maybe this will work. 65 stream streak. Ooh. So if the source is equal to this, then update it. Maybe that's what we should just do in update tooltip. Yeah. So now there is no set text, right? Set text and, oh no, there is. Set text and content. There's just set text. There's no update tooltip. What did that do? Oh, just does set text and content. Well, well, well. This is looking like it's gonna work. Well, the way you journal, it's just simple and straightforward. Yeah, I think that, well, maybe you're talking about this to-do list, but I think any mental context you have as you're going through a task, you should probably write down because there's a chance you'll forget it. And forgetting it could be very bad for your productivity. Is there any problem in this class anymore? I don't think so. I think we're almost fine. Now we just need the correct hover things here. Mouse entered, mouse exited. So this isn't going to be a thing anymore. Yeah. And this won't be a thing. Where is it? Yeah, these. Okay, so what used to be in mouse entered and mouse exited need to go here. So I'm going to copy paste these things. Hey, Flair. Flair, I couldn't help but laugh at your Discord comment. Never knew people had so many opinions about fans. Oh man. All right, item drop zone, update tooltip. This is hide from source. This, I don't even think this makes sense. Unless we showed it from this to begin with. Oh, we did. Okay. All right, and then the lever. We want to do something here. I don't even know what we want to call. I guess show from source on the lever. Yeah. This might not work. This might be off by like one frame here. And then this would be town.town tooltip.hide from source lever. In which case this can just be simplified to hide from source object, which is pretty good. And this can probably be simplified too, except for the set text thing. But I think we need to do the set text in even the lever. All right, let's try this. Last stream of the year? No, tomorrow morning will be the last stream of the year, I think. But tomorrow morning, it might be the new year for some people, which is why I needed to use this title today. All right, please work. Yeah, so, yeah, this is not working correctly. And I now understand why, and I don't know if this is an unfixable problem. This is going to be rather unfortunate. All right, so let's put a bunch of prints back in here. Hovering over lever. Hovering over extractor. Stopped hovering over and stopped hovering over lever. Yeah, the problem is... Wait, maybe there is no problem. I don't know. There's definitely a problem. I shouldn't say maybe there's no problem. I just don't know if it's an easy to fix problem. So we start over here. Let's click this. So hovering over extractor, we're good. Now we go to hover over the lever, we're good. Now we go out of this, stopped hovering extractor. There was no stopped hovering over lever that showed up. That's strange. Why not? Oh, because only one, oh, no. We don't have to queue the stop events. It's only the enter events, I think. Yeah, the stop events can go in any order. Is that true? I hope that's true. Yeah, I think that's true. So I think we just get rid of this. And this, probably. And then don't have these things here anymore. Oh, man. It's a little bit of a mess because well, there's another thing we can do. We could just not queue this. And we could just say mouse stop hovered dot invoke. And pass in the object. So it sends the stop event immediately, but it only allows one enter event through. It's based on the priority you pass in. So does it work? I mean, it kind of does, but you can't go from hovering over this to hovering over the extractor. How do we even get that to work if we wanted it to? Because what's actually happening here is you're hovering over the extractor when you're here. No, it's still not happening. Wait, what did... Oh, I see. It already thought I was hovering over. Okay, so we try like this. Hover over lever. Oh, no. I see. Well, what about this? Can I click this? Yeah. And we need to fix the problem where in one frame this shows up in the wrong spot or with the wrong content or something. I don't know. Let's just make this public for a second. I don't think this is a great solution. If you go back to the beginning of 2025, what would you do differently? I wonder what I would do differently this year. I'm not totally sure. I feel like the last 6 months have been really productive, and I don't remember what I did in the first 6 months, but that's why we keep a journal. So let's go find out what we did. Moved manual training, launch prep. Wait, was Next Fest this year? Checkpoint 5. Started working on fishing? We didn't have fishing in until this year? What? Man, we made a ton of progress this year. Prep for Next Fest. Yeah, I don't know. I think this year went pretty well. Yeah. All right. Well, I think this problem is harder than I thought. But we at least have kind of something working here. You can't go from the lever back over to the extractor, and that's kind of an issue. Like, this thing should maybe remember that you're hovering over the extractor too. That's a great year till the introduction of phone mode. That's when it became a better year. January. I know that's not the joke, but that's what I choose to focus on as a joke. Okay, so issue. This is a small issue. Oh, wait. Did we fix this? Yeah, we did fix this. So when going from the lever to the extractor, it doesn't show the extractor tooltip since you had already entered it. I wonder if we should track which events got like out prioritized and then emit them again. Hey JD. Is calling a 30th old year a thing? It's not a thing. I just think it's funny. Yeah, tomorrow. Don't worry, Ramy. That's me. You'll never have to see me actually be banned for saying these things. I don't care how many kappas you put in your message. So is it worth doing this? And how would we even do this? So what's happening is we hover the extractor, then we hover the lever, then we stop hovering the lever. And at this point, it should be like the mouse entered the extractor. Wow, he's the new kappa. We could probably keep track of this. We just need to keep track of which things we're hovering over and in what order. And then like send the mouse entered when we get a mouse exited from something else. But we need to keep track of all the mouse exited events. Oh man, this is a little bit difficult. One tooltip for lever and extractor, easy peasy. One tooltip. The thing is, you don't necessarily even have the lever in some cases. Like you can get the extractor without the lever. I mean, I guess you could still kind of do this. Hmm. But yeah, I do wonder about nested tooltips, and I kind of want to try to solve this problem, but I think it might be a little bit annoying. So let me think about how we need to do this. So we need to track at any point which objects we've entered but not exited. And then when exiting any object, trigger the enter event on these tracked objects on the highest priority tracked object. But I don't think that's actually correct because exit can happen in any order. The exit could happen for both of these, right? Maybe it's fine. Yeah, maybe it's fine. So we just have a private hash set currently hovered objects. And whenever you mouse over one of these, we just add this. Whenever you exit, we remove it. And I guess on the next frame, we could push this. But then here we don't emit it. We just check to see if... How do we do this? Let me look at this again. So stop hovering over the lever. But you might have hovered over a higher priority thing. We need to know that you stopped hovering over the highest priority thing. I think. Maybe this is too complex to do right now. Because could we do this here? This is where you've stopped hovering over something in the prior frame, but you might have hovered over something else. Oh, but this is just the highest priority event. Oh. Is this only a problem because the areas share an edge? They completely overlap. So it's not just that they share an edge. The shapes look like this. There's a shape here, and then there's a lever here. If they did just share an edge, I think it would still be a problem, but it would be maybe easier to solve. But yeah, so this is that the highest priority event was that we exited something. So now what we would need to do is check to see, are we still hovered over any of these? If this dot count is greater than 0. So now we're still hovered over one of these. Now we need to find the highest priority. Find the highest priority object that we're hovering over and emit a mouse hovered event for it. I wonder if this will just do it for me. This is not how I would do this. I would start with the object in the currently hovered objects. And then I'd find the index of it. Wait, would I? I guess I'd just make a new queue out of this stuff. Yeah. And then at the end of this has to be greater than 0. I mean, we'll just delete that. Yeah, so that's what I think the code would be. So now what did I mess up here? Ooh. I'll just try it. If this works, then great. You can manually check if the machine is under the mouse or the raycast, and if yes, start hovering it. I think raycasting into Area 2Ds is probably not a good idea because Area 2D has a mouse entered and mouse exited. And you'd also need some way of detecting like render order. Whereas here we have priority assigned by the code. Oh my God, did this work? Really? Oh man, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Wow. All right, so now here's the real test. What if we make like 3 nested things? So what if we have a rectangle and then another rectangle inside and then another rectangle inside that, and we go from hovering over in like this order. So we would see red tooltip, blue tooltip, yellow tooltip. Then on our way out, we'd see blue, red. So yeah, this should be easy enough to test. We don't have any changes to the extractor scene right now, right? No, we don't. Okay. Because I was gonna say we could just change this right now just for testing. So I'll just move the lever over here. And then we'll make another thing that can be clicked in the middle of that. So I'll just make a new node 2D with a collision object. What's it called? Area 2D, I guess. With a collision shape, with a rectangle. And we put this inner rectangle there. Let's put it like right on the lever. Well, no, now I want to test it because this should work. So we're going to call this like center point. Or fake object or something. Yeah, fake object. And we probably need to get its area 2D. Fake area 2D. Oh, wait, like that. Okay. All right, now how do we test that? So we get node 2D fake object. Get node fake object. And then area 2D, fake area 2D. And then we want that to be the highest priority one. So we make a fake area in here. So now else if object equals fake area, we're going to do show from source fake area and then set its tooltip to be set text. This is fake. This is the fake object. All right, and then over here, just hide it. Yeah, all right, let's try it. Oh, except for that should be, well, technically it works, I guess. But I typed the wrong thing. We didn't need the fake object at all, I think. Maybe we did. Who knows? But let's try it. Please work. Oh, did I do this on the wrong machine? No, I did on the key grinder. Okay, so the lever should be in the middle. So we hover over this. Correct. We hover over the lever. Correct. We hover over this. Oh, we hover over the lever. Sorry. Oh man, there's like no way I got that on the first try. All right. Wow. That's pretty good. This was only possible with priority queues, pretty much. This is why you learn data structures and algorithms, people. So, okay, we should clean up the code. And then, yeah, I should post this everywhere on the internet. I'm still kind of convinced there's some bug in here somewhere, but man, it's pretty nuts that it's working. All right, so let's clean this up. This class exists to work around chref equals this. In short, Godot, what is this, area 2D? cref equals area 2D. Does that work? Yep. Area 2D mouse events, or maybe mouse events for area 2D do not ensure any sort of ordering. This means that if you have overlapping areas, or possibly even nearby areas, what do they do in this thing? Changes the spread of the cursor when it enters and exits these regions. I can't tell from their picture. I know I could download their project, but I can't tell if these are overlapping or not. They have exit zone and walk zone. Rectangle. The distance of collision shapes are 1 pixel. Okay, so they're not touching. Yeah, I think they just need to be nearby. If you have near enough areas that the mouse could enter, that I'm not actually sure how this works. Like, you enter one and then move the mouse on the same frame and it exits. No, it exits one and enters the other on the same frame. Yeah. Okay, that's the problem. Yeah. It means you have near enough areas that you can exit or enter multiple on the same frame. You may want some kind of prioritization. So, for example, the thing that prompted this for Skeleseller is a lever on a machine. Well, not the thing. The scenario that prompted this for Skeleseller is tooltips on machines with levers. The machines have a tooltip and the levers have a tooltip. And we would hit a problem where you would quickly mouse from the machine to the lever, but still see the machine's tooltip. Okay, so there's that. So currently hovered object, the objects that we're currently hovering over, i.e. ones that have not emitted, oh, is that even correct? Yeah, ones have not emitted their mouse exited yet. We track these so that when you stop hovering over an object, we can potentially emit a mouse hovered event for the next highest priority object. Yeah. All right, write a collision, but write a thing for this. And like mouse enter and mouse exit events. In order of priority. Collision objects, the area 2Ds that we're prioritizing hover events for, yeah. All right, mouse hovered, mouse stop hovered. We should probably just use mouse entered and exited, just like these things have. And I don't think Node already has those, so I think we're fine. Mouse entered. No, we don't have that. Hey, Krasner. Thought your shirt was fireworks for a second. That would be pretty neat and fitting. Yeah, happy old year. Yeah, so let's rename this to mouse entered and mouse exited. Okay, so naming has been modified. Public should come before private. Sure. Why is that how this works? That's not how this ever works. What? Hold on a second. Something's wrong here. Yeah, something's wrong. Public should come before private. Well, yeah, sure. This one can be read-only. I don't know why this is happening here. Because I never do this like this anywhere else, right? Like action question mark. Oh, it can be private? Oh, okay. Wait, so then why do I have a public action over here? This shouldn't be here, right? Oh, because we set this from outside of this? Yeah, okay, Seems a little weird. All right, make field read only. Sure. So clean these up. Yeah, that's right. Like dispose of these. All right, how do we do this then? And why is this still a problem? Okay, I've messed something up. Very they're event actions. Okay, that's why. And now it doesn't complain about it. This should be the pattern we use in the entire code base. It isn't for some reason. We make them public. Why? Oh, because otherwise you can't listen. I knew something was wrong. It was just me forgetting event. There, done. Okay, great. All right, so now dispose of these properly. How do we do this? So if you were to get rid of the hover prioritizer, it should no longer have any of these events. I don't like this. And this is priority, by the way. Well, it is index. I guess it's the same as priority. So I guess we need these to be functions in here that take in the object and a Boolean. I think it'll work. Private void on mouse entered. This takes in a collision object and an index. This is a priority actually. And it's going to look like this. And this is priority. And then we have the same thing over here. On mouse exited. Okay. Now we use those here. Oh, no, you can't though, can you? Oh, man. Is there a generic pattern for this in C#? Because, yeah, I generally run into this problem where it's like, I have this lambda. I want to add this event. So mouse entered plus equal. I want to like bind it. That's the kind of thing I want to do. So that then later on I can do this. C#, add listener, lambda delegate, or like remove lambda delegate. Is that a thing? How to remove a lambda event handler. I'm guessing you just need to save this off somewhere. If you have two anonymous functions, it may or may not create equal delegates. So yeah, we can't do that. You need to remember the delegate instance you used. You'll need to extract this, but that method won't work because we'd still need a lambda. Yeah. All right. Hey, go Deke. Thanks for the resub. Happy almost 5 years. I find it easier to just use a named function in the case I want to hook and unhook the events. Any UPS. Why do you need the lambda? So in this case, it's because Godot specifies mouse entered as not having any arguments. And we need to know what thing we entered, which is just the object. So that's why we need a lambda here, because if it passed in the object, then we could just make a method. And I could use these things. But I can't use them right now. So I think I need to save these into the class. Yeah, I don't think the named function would even help in this case. Because what I'm doing is I have a list of like Godot objects, and I need 2 listeners for each. And then later in dispose, I want to get rid of those. So I think I'm going to need to save these. All right, well, whatever. It's not like it's impossible to save them. It's just a little bit annoying. So private list of collision object and a function action mouse entered listeners. Lambda is just named garbage generated characters. Wait, but it's still not a solution for this case, right? Because I have this thing. Even if I gave this a name, I need to remove it somehow. But it doesn't have any of the parameters that I need. I think I need to save these things off. This can be a read-only list, and same thing, mouse exit listeners. So now here we make the listener, right? So I say like action listener or mouse entered listener equals this. And then we use it. And I delete this. You need to have state for extra parameters. Yeah. Okay. And then we do the same thing over here, save that, and then we save these things off. Mouse enter listeners, mouse exit listeners, and then in dispose, which we will go add over here, dispose, we probably figure out what I'm supposed to be doing for this. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go through each listener and remove it. Yeah. All right, now what's the problem with this? Use local function. I mean, I guess it can be. It's the same general thing, right? Element should begin with an uppercase letter. Sure, what do I care? As long as it stops complaining at me. Oh, it still complains at me. Oh yeah, no, I just didn't capitalize these. Okay, so no issues in the rest of this? No issues. Read-only fields should appear before non-read-only fields. Sure. Save listeners that we bind since they are lambdas with like closure captured objects. A closure is the function that can be passed around as a variable. Yeah, we just need to do the remembering part. Emitted just once per frame on the highest priority object that's currently being hovered over. Just hovered over. And mouse exited is actually emitted at any random point. Emitted as soon as any hovered object is exited, even if it's not the highest priority one. I'm going to change these to be priority : index just to make it slightly clearer. So if is entered, do that. Otherwise, I mean, these can be consolidated. Emit a mouse entered event for it. This is what allows you to, what did it say here? It's not fall through. It's more like fall back to other hovered objects. And then this is here like forget about any other events since we only care about the highest priority one per frame. It's not per frame, it's each frame. Okay, everything else looks pretty good, right? So mark that we've hovered over this, add it. Yeah, that should have said priority. Cue this, immediately trigger mouse exited and remove it from the current object thing. Wait, whoa, what happened there? Oh, it deleted that. Not good. Okay, let's go try it one more time. I wonder if we make these shapes overlap in like slightly weirder ways. Like what if I took this and put this on the bottom of this? So now it has an overlap on the top half with all three, and on the bottom half with just two of them. Sorry, I said that weirdly. There are three on top, and then doesn't matter. It's obvious from what I just drew. I'm not gonna try to be precise with my language when I just drew a picture. So now if we hover over the bottom of this, we hit all three. But if I hover over this part, we just hit the other one. And if I go from here up to that one, and then down to this, and then over to the side. Okay, but then up and then out of that. Yeah, nice. Okay, I think everything's working. Ooh, what a class. All right, so now I don't want the changes to key grinder. This was just for the sake of testing. Let's get rid of that. And then I do want to try out, though, what happens... Oh, interesting. Item machine wouldn't have even worked. In fact, there should have been an error here, right? Yeah, there was. Yeah, that didn't matter. So item machine. So I don't want the fake stuff. Fake, delete, delete, delete. And what I do want to do next is I want to test what happens when... Oh my God. What happens when you swap the order of these? So can I change the priority correctly? Oh, thanks, Anonymous Gifter. And welcome in, Tickler. Oh, nice. All right, so now it should be... Yep, this looks correct. And if I go from here over to here... No, wait, this isn't working. I think it's not respecting the priority. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think it's respecting the priority. The item drop zone should be first. Okay, let's look at the events again. This is not good. So this just coincidentally worked. Oh, man. So if I hover over here, we see this. If I hover over this, it says hover over lever. Why are we not hovering over the item machine? We should be. That's strange. This should start like right over here. Yeah, hover over extractor. The lever shouldn't cause a new thing to trigger. Okay, yeah, I made a mistake. I think this was all a waste of time. I think this only worked because these were like totally aligned. So in this case, we're hovering over the extractor still. So this new thing should not out prioritize it. Okay, I think we can fix this, but I am spending quite a lot of time on this one tiny problem. So when you enter a new thing, if you're currently hovering over a higher priority thing, we don't trigger the mouse entered for this. So this should not be the case. We need to look over the currently hovered object count, which probably means, excuse me, we should do this no matter what. Only emit mouse entered if this is still the highest priority hovered object. So I want a function here that gets me the highest priority hovered object. Private collision object 2D question mark get highest priority hovered object. That should be all the code we just had here. Yep. Get the index in Q. Counts greater than 0, return DQ. Yep. Okay, that looks good. So now we want to use this in here. And then if it's not null, then do this. Okay. And here is to make sure that we only emit this if it was the highest object. There. Now this is kind of a mess in terms of code, but let's try that out and see if it works. Okay, so we hover over this, and then over this, it does nothing. And now there's no way to hover over the, just the lever. It will call enter twice now. No, I don't think so. I mean, there's a different problem that's happening. That's weird. There's no hovered over happening. Yeah. Hey, Pickle. Is the goal to pick the action of the highest Z-ordered object in stacks as an aside of the collisions done via set pixels or bounding boxes? So the collisions are done via bounding boxes. There's an issue in Godot that we're trying to work around here, which is this. So the short of it is mouse enter and mouse exit can happen in any order between two objects. So they have this picture of a red zone and a blue zone, which are separated by 1 pixel in the middle. So you can move the mouse in one frame so that you leave this one and enter this one. But you might get them in the wrong order. So it might be leave red, enter blue, or it might be the other way around. And your code needs to potentially handle that. So what I thought is, okay, let's write a hover prioritizer that you pass in the priorities, and then it will make sure that if you get 2 events on the same frame that they're ordered in the right way. And touch code back to 20 words per minute. Yeah, code definitely takes some time. So maybe this is an effort in futility here, and then I should just go back to what works for my needs and not post anything on Godot. On the GitHub, I mean. So only emit mouse entered if this is still the highest priority hovered object. Yeah, so this is maybe not a problem. Like you can't technically enter just the lever without entering the object, the machine. But we're not even getting a mouse entered for the machine now. And it should happen that we're hovering over both of them at once. Raw mouse entered for plus object.name. Mouse exited. I think the mouse exited events are triggered no matter what. So let's just try this and see what happens. No timestamps on the events, or they would also be misordered? No timestamps. Yeah. Because this is all happening in the same frame. I don't think they put timestamps on events anyway. We don't even technically have an event here to check. Hovering lever is hovering extractor and show correct tooltip later based on that. Yeah, that's another thing we could do. I just want to make a generic way of solving this. So we get an event, mouse entered clickable area and item drop zone. Interesting that we get the clickable area one. Well, I guess the order doesn't matter. So then the item drop zone will get prioritized, but it's not considered the highest priority thing. I'm guessing this is failing. This should be the item drop zone. It is. And this should be true. It isn't. That's strange. Highest priority object.name is the clickable area. Does collision events even have anything else? Oh, because oh, whoops, I see. because we only entered one thing that frame. Or wait, does that make sense? No, because we only looked at the... Wait, no, hold on. That doesn't make sense. Collision events? We still have one of these. And that, if I'm not mistaken... How do we get that? Can I do this? I don't think I can. No. I could DQ another one, though. But I only have one shot at getting the name of this thing. It's not Canadian definition for name. Yeah, I messed it up. Whoops. Oh, man. And now there's nothing in it anymore. Oh, no, there's still something in it. Okay, so how do we do this? DQ 0.name? Or like .first.name? Some way to do this. I don't know how. Yeah, I have a tuple, but I can't define a variable on in a debugger. So I don't know how to get this thing. If we could, I could just copy this and change the names. 2 is entered 2 and then like get the name of this thing. But it doesn't work like that. Item 1, is that what it's called? Aha, thank you. Okay, yeah. Is there a way to ask Godot for a list of objects that have bounding boxes the cursor was within? I think you can do that, but I think it's not the right way to do this in this case. Like you'd have to raycast into the scene and check which area 2Ds you're hitting. I don't think it's very performant. And I also think, what else? You might hit other areas that aren't part of this. But yeah, that's another option we could have taken. Yeah, item 1, item 2. That I didn't realize that. So thank you, ABC. And thanks, Godeek. All right, so anyway, this one's item drop zone. But the thing that we got here is the clickable area. So this is not sorting based on the priority correctly. I wonder why not. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So obj.name assign priority 0 and 1. So the item drop zone should get priority 0. Yeah, it did. Huh. I feel the pain. Yeah. And I guess if I'm working around this, I guess it doesn't matter too much if it's not super performing because it should only be in these cases that this happens. And yeah, maybe that's a better way of doing this. All right, so the thing I still don't understand is we get mouse entered for both of these things. They both get into collision events. In fact, I probably should have put this here. But then the thing we get off the top, the highest priority object, is the clickable area. That's not how DQ should work, right? Did I mess something up? Isn't lowest priority the thing to go through? Represents a min priority queue. Elements with the lowest priority get DQ'd first. Yeah. I'm not understanding this line of code then. Because we had two things on here. And yeah, the other one, .dq, .item1, .name, is the item drop zone. But the item drop zone has a lower priority and it didn't get DQ'd. How does it make sense? Yeah, let's put the breakpoint over here. I don't understand this. So we should have two things on here? Yeah. What am I missing? This should be like the most obvious thing here. Did I mess this up when I added them? Q priority index, index plus plus. This isn't some like JavaScript thing where we're capturing the final index, right? I mean, I guess it technically could be. Can we see somehow what the, like dump everything in here? 2-string? I don't think it's gonna work. No. Is there some like debug inspect thing? Yeah, Ironblade. Welcome in. Capacity compare count unordered. Get a collection that enumerates the elements in an unordered manner. How do we do this? Dot unordered items collection. Okay. Cannot reference a type through an expression. What? Try priority queue unordered items collection. What? I don't understand this. Peak returns the minimal element without removing it. Try peak. I mean, we already know what peak is going to give us. I just don't get it. I absolutely do not get it. There are two things on this. And we get the clickable area first, even though its priority is higher. I mean, its number is higher, which means lower numbered things have a higher priority. What's weird about this, though, is that if I invert the order of these, it works fine. What am I missing? Object true. Oh, they might be an enter and a leave event. Oh, I didn't think about that. I've only been looking at the first thing. I should be looking at the second thing. Item 2, true. Yeah, so now we take this off and I'm guessing it's going to be false. Expected expression. What? No, it's also true. Okay, no, I'm confused again. You click on this on the right side and look into the collision events. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I could have done that. Yeah, I can. Okay, yeah, let's just go do that then. I didn't think about that. Thank you, Dark. Okay, so I hover over this. We expand this section, go to collision events. So the 0th thing has an area 2D. And how do I see what it correlates to in terms of a Boolean? It might be at the bottom of all of this stuff. It's not. Strange. Yeah, strange. Oh, there it is. I can see it there. So this true 2 and this, yeah. Am I using this list from init when assigning priorities? Yeah, but lists are ordered. So I pass in the drop zone first. So the drop zone gets priority 0, and then the clickable area second, so it gets priority 1. So yeah, we take in a list, we assign priorities. And then when I enqueue these things, I pass in the priority, and I don't see any problem with this. Oh, they both have the same priority here, and it's 2. Oh man, am I dumb? Is this the problem that I said that wouldn't happen? Oh my god, because I put it inside of a function now instead of a... Okay, I think this needs to be a lambda. Oh god. Woe is me. Yeah. I think we need to do it this way for this to work. Oh, this is so stupid. I'm not positive this is even true, but this is the only thing that would make sense at this point. And I don't think we would have had a problem if I just hadn't listened to my linter. Oh no. All right, so let's ignore the use local function bit. It's not even a linting issue. It's just a VS Code like suggestion, right? IDE 0039. Can we just ignore that here? Can I do that somehow? Suppress, yeah. Suppress in source. Yeah, cool. There. Unfortunately, that breaks the syntax highlighting somehow. This is like a red greater than sign now. But let's try it anyway. I think it should work. Oh, mistake. What a mistake. I even said this wasn't an issue because I thought we were still using actions here. And like it won't work that way. Okay, it's still not working, but I think it's possibly the exact same issue I just said, and I didn't actually fix anything. You need spacing between pragmas for the highlighting to work? Oh, yeah. What a shame. Oh, and since I just changed the code now, I got to restart this. Yeah, I think the problem is the index is always going to be 2. I got to figure that out. I don't know, some easy way to work around that. Okay, so we click over here. Good. And now we look at collision events. And collision events is probably going to be wrong. Yep, they both have 2 there still. So this actually did not have to do with using lambda or not. I just got to figure out how to pass in index. Might do function index. And then using it, add event listener, function index. Yeah, I guess the other thing we could do here is instead of passing in index, we could do like collision objects dot index of and then the thing, although that's O of n as opposed to constant time. But yeah, okay, so let's undo everything and put this back into regular functions. And then just put all this into a separate function here. So copy this, just copy the whole thing, I don't care. Private void. So what are we doing in this? We're just going to do the inside of this thing, which is setting up listeners. Yeah. Add listeners to object. So we take in a collision object and we take in its priority. So we don't need any of this. We don't need any of that. We don't need that part. Collision object could probably just be called object. And priority could be there. Just replace all of that. And if we're going to have priority, we don't need this colon here anymore. All right. I think we're good. And it looks nicer. Time to turn on. Good luck me. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Thankfully, I think with most PSUs, it's just connect the cables correctly and you're fine. So hopefully you connected them correctly. All right, so now we should have the right priorities. And I'm just being a big dummy earlier. Let's see. Yes, we do. Which means that the right tooltip should show up. Good. So there should be no way to hover over the lever in this case because the priority is always lower and it's fully encapsulated. But if I go back to this and I set this back to what this should have been, where is this? Item machine. Hey, Sinistella. Also, I don't know if I said hi to you, Toulouse, but hi. All right. Problem solved. What a gigantic mess. Wow, look at that. It works exactly how I want it to work. Yep, everything's perfect. And it should work for this other one too, because they're the same basic thing, yeah. And when you click this, it should work. Yep, yep, yep. How lucky it was that it worked for 3 areas before. Well, that was because I set the priority up. Wait, no, how? No, that was because that was before I set up the dispose stuff. The thing that introduced the problem was wrapping these in functions down here. No, I'm not in the right class. Sorry, hang on. Where did I put that? Hover prioritizer. Yeah, this introduced the problem. Back when I didn't have that, I think we were fine. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I'm not even going to go back and try to figure that out. All right, so we are going to do this. Delete all the prints. I think we have some prints from item machine as well. And there's some bad code in here. We should probably just fix that stuff up. So mouse entered and mouse exited aren't needed. This is crazy. Crazy. All right, these are both the same. We can just set this to object. Oh, except that we can't because hide from source is on this, the extractor. So we should just show from source in the right thing, which should be the item drop zone, I guess. That's kind of weird. And I kind of want the clickable area to be different. Here, S. Tooltip should be above the cursor, not below it, which makes the text invisible. Makes the text invisible. Oh, because of the gigantic cursor? That's actually just a problem because I increased the OS cursor size. So this happens in lots and lots of programs. Like if I hover over this, you can't read the text underneath it. And same thing with this. It's like restart. Well, what is a shortcut? Well, I guess you can kind of move the mouse and see. But most people don't have their cursors that gigantic. So yeah, and most programs don't deal with this. Chrome surprisingly does deal with this. They know how big your OS... Okay, well, they don't there. If you hover over something like this, maybe. Yeah. So Chrome is very special in that it works around that behavior. You can see open the home page is completely visible there. So they base it on your OS cursor size. I assume they need a bigger focus on accessibility. So I don't particularly care about that for this, that it's showing next to the cursor, because most people will just not have a gigantic cursor. Okay, so this is show from item drop zone, which means that this can now be changed to just be hide from source obj. Delete this, delete this. And then there's one other tiny usability thing here, which I don't know if we even need to do anything about, but it'd be very easy to do something about if we want to, which is that the tooltip should probably only show up when you're hovering over the thing and not the random area around the thing. So right now you can hover over this blank space because I just made a very large drop zone around this. But we should probably confine it to like this rectangle. Also, this is show from source, but it should probably be update. Like this one moves as you do it. This one doesn't. Why is that? See, item drop zone, show from source. Isn't there an update somewhere? Position tooltip near mouse. The update thing does this. What do we call that? Set text and content. Yeah, position mouse, position near mouse. Why is that happening on the lever? Set text? Does set text do this? It does. Okay, why doesn't this happen then on the item machine? We call set text on that too. Oh, because this doesn't happen on process. Oh, because now this is this. Oh, this should just be item drop zone. Right, yeah, okay. So I think we should make a new collision area for this. And it should be pretty simple. Wow. Well, I don't know how to feel about this morning. On one hand, I'm happy that we fixed a tiny issue. On the other hand, it was a tiny issue. Probably shouldn't have been given this much thought. All right, well, let's do the last thing that I suggested over here, which is we go to our item machine, and instead of just item drop zone being this gigantic thing, let's add in a new one of these. Just duplicate this, and we'll call this something like tooltip hover zone, and then just change the shape of this to be, whoa, not what I want. Make unique. Yeah, so we put this around just the extractor, so maybe like, nope, I'm trying to click the little red dot. Maybe there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Is only unique within the scene they're in, or every scene? Only in the scene that they're in. So you can see clickable area is here. This actually, we could use clickable area even in here too, I think, because this is a sub scene. Because of the yellow. that's how you know that. What am I doing? What do I call this? Item drop zone? No, tooltip hover zone. Okay, so I want the tooltip hover zone. This can be private. And what is it? An area 2D? Isn't that what a drop zone is? Clickable area, which is an area 2D, which is a collision object 2D. Yeah, I guess that's what it really needs to be. Collision object 2D. Tooltip hover zone. Collision object. And then fetch that instead. So instead of item drop zone, we replace that with those. This we can remove. And then we need to change this in process and in here. And everything should work and it should feel better. Doesn't really help with clicking those red dots. It should, right? Like, I should have extra precision. Polygon collision would be more precise. I don't think it matters too much. I just don't want to be in this like blank space way out there. So yes, there is still blank space here, and we could change this to like a triangle and a rectangle, and it wouldn't be too bad. But it's not super important if I had done this work at all, really. So now, yeah, you can hover over this roughly where you'd expect. You can hover over the lever. Whoa, that's not good. Oh, there's an exception. Uh-oh. All right, ready, not set to an object. Line 67. What? What did we have here before? Did I didn't somehow mess this up? I'm just gonna put this back to what it was. Because I think that might have been a problem. The town tooltip apparently hasn't been set up at this particular point in time, which I find a little hard to believe. But maybe it's when you load from a game that it doesn't work that way. No, it's still broken. Oh no. Oh no. Now we're not getting a mouse exit event for this? Because we're still hovering over something else? No, something's amiss. Just when I thought we were so close. Hide from source. So this is only if the source is the correct thing. All right, so mouse exited. Let's print these things out again. Mouse entered. Yeah. It must still think we're hovering over the item machine, I think. I'm not sure how that's possible. So yeah, mouse entered. Oh no, it doesn't think we're hovering over it. Just mouse exited, it doesn't do anything. Oh, maybe I'm specifying the wrong. Yeah, I am. This is supposed to be lever.clickable area, I think. And presumably it's update tooltip. Checks if it's the lever. Ah, whoops. All right, how do we fix that? I guess we just, well, we just make it the clickable area. So this just says if source equals clickable area. And what else do I need to fix? This should be clickable area. Okay, that'll work. I think that'll work. Yeah, tiny problem. I am a mixture of emotions. People who play this game, they better be like, there's a whole game, you're selling stuff, I like that, you can level up. But you know what the best part is? When you hover over this and then go to hovering over this and then stop, the tooltips just work. I've never seen another Godot game that does that. They'll just click this a bunch of times and be like, wow, look at that. It says click to turn off when it's on and click to turn on when it's off. The green light goes on and everything. I think there's like 2 hours of gameplay in just this section of the game right here. So much to look at. Okay, it's working. That's all I care about. Nothing else. Nothing else matters. Which means this should be able to go back to what it was, and we just don't have town tooltip at this point. I'm actually a little bit curious about that. Let's load the game again. And, oh, I didn't even hit the breakpoint. Oh, because I changed the code. A minor 10-second setback. This is all we're gonna do today. I need to pat myself on the head and say, hey, it'll be okay. All right, so town.town tooltip doesn't exist at this point. Yeah. Like I said, I find that surprising. This is when we're loading from the game. And we just set up the town tooltip somewhere else. It's from the UI. So the UI doesn't have this by default. It doesn't have it until ready. That means ready wasn't triggered for this? The town's ready was triggered. Isn't the town's ready only triggered when the children have all had their readies triggered? That's strange. UI.tooltip. It does exist. What? What? I'm confused. If I type town tooltip, this exists. And if I type this, it is a control 4109 whatever. And if I go over to here and type town, oh, town is null. Oh, whoops. Are we just not setting that yet? I'm just being a dummy. Yeah, it's in it. Okay. Well, technically, we shouldn't add the listeners until we've added the town. So this can be very easy to fix. We just take these things out of here and put them in here. And then this can be simplified to this. There. Simpler code, same effect. So we got rid of 2 lines. I should just embrace this. Yeah, town must be null if you got an exception. Yeah. I took too long to realize that. Yeah, nice. Everything works. No exceptions. Great. Crazy. Crazy that I spent that amount of effort on this. Crazy. I'm going to look through all this stuff again. This is all looking fine. Tooltip hover zone. Yep. Yeah. Got rid of a decent amount from here. I actually kind of don't like that update tooltip is its own function now. Unless we call it. No, we do call it from somewhere else. That's fine then. Yeah, I think we're good. This is a W. This was made public, which I also kind of don't like. Because the item machine needs to access the lever's properties and probably shouldn't have to do that. But could we have done this a different way? Not really. No, not really. Yeah. Okay, that's fine then. What else did I do? That's fine. That's fine because I guess we put this inside of here. And it should be a pretty quick check. We actually only want to do this when it's also showing. Otherwise, we're going to cause this to show, won't we? No, because when we hide, we change the source. I'm curious about that. Let's go take a look. Hide. Source, hide. No, we don't do that. Then set text doesn't make this visible. Must be the case. Set text. There's no show in here. If content does not always show that. Yeah, we don't show this. Okay, so then technically we're doing too much work because we're calling set text every single frame. So we should change this to say if town.town tooltip dot is showing. Oh, is showing for source exists. That's exactly what I want. So this checks to see if it's visible and if the source is the certain thing. Nice. Okay, that fixes that very tiny performance issue. And then this is the only thing I haven't really come back to and that I don't like. But everything else looks fine, I think. Can we do this, or does the linter complain? The linter complains. Okay, well then we'll just add both of these things here. Only emit mouse entered if this is still the highest priority hovered object. If you don't do this, then you may move from a high priority object to a low priority one and override a tooltip. I mean, this isn't going to be generic to anyone who does this. For the sake of showing tooltips, let's make sure you're always showing the highest priority tooltip. That's a little bit more generic, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Now for our final test, we only use this in literally 2 places in the code base, the extractor and the key grinder. And then we just need to write some notes and probably post some code somewhere. Yeah, this is good. There should be no way we can kind of trick this or do something wrong here. It just always points at the thing we want to point at. And then the other place is down here. And if we're zoomed out, it should be fine. It's not like that has any impact on this. Yeah. Man, you know, whenever there's any sort of performance aspect to anything and you've been preparing for it, you always see all these mistakes. Like I used to have this happen when I would play piano or recitals or something. And I'd be like, oh man, I made so many mistakes. And someone else would come up to me and be like, that was perfect. It was flawless. It was wonderful. And I'm like, no, you're just not hearing the mistakes. This is one of those things where not every player commented on this, but whenever they would experience it, I would see this and I'd say, man, I want to fix that. This is going to be like the next entire month of development. It's just fixing tiny issues like that, I think. All right, so did we file an issue on this? I think we did. Oh no. Did I check in? Hang on a second. I think this isn't like a giant problem, but did I check this in? Change name of function. Diff last commit. Oh, that's not good. That should have never made it in there. I didn't push that, did I? Yeah, exactly. Loose. Exactly. My branch is ahead by 1 commit. Okay, so then we need to undo the last commit because I did not mean to check that in. Yeah, whoops. I only meant to check this in. That's all I saw. I didn't realize this stuff was there too. All right, well, we can't delete it from here. We got to uncheck this. Enchanter Den, go back to here. So get rid of this code, get rid of this code. And then this I want to still look at in a sec. So where's the plus button? Why is it not showing up? There it is. Plus and plus. The first one didn't even work. All right, so there's only 2 changes here. Now this is correct. Now the Enchanter Den, this fix can potentially be made a little bit better because I wanted to change the onHover spellbook. Show from source, update tooltip. Update tooltip checks to see if this is the source. But do we ever call this in a different case? Is mouse over? Oh God, I don't care. I don't care. We're just gonna check this in. Fix problem with spell tooltips. Doesn't this have the same problem though? I guess not, because we control this in here. This is the non-generic way of doing this. We just check to see, is the mouse over this? Okay, that's top priority. We only handle this. If not, okay, is the mouse over something else? If so, update that thing. Oh, this is first. So how do we know that? Why is it not first or default? This doesn't seem right. Wouldn't we be calling this even if we're not hovering over a spellbook? No, I changed the code. Nothing's ever easy. It would imply that something always needs to have is mouse overset, which feels wrong to me. Okay, so now we just put a breakpoint here. It's not getting hit. Why is this not getting hit? Oh, update. Oh, I see. Update tooltip checks to see if there's something. Oh, that's kind of silly. Well, anyway, it's working, so I guess we don't do anything about that. So fixed problem with spell tooltips is just this set text bit. And I think we did have an issue for this. Spell. I'll just search for spell. There it is. 883. Fixes 883. This was just a... We were... God, that's loud. I know, thank you for the raid. How went the stream? All right, that was muted. There we go. And yeah, how's the game going? Welcome in, everyone. We are working through some like very kind of minor issues. So there were a couple of things with tooltips in this game where if you hovered over one of these things and moved really quickly between them, you'd see the wrong tooltip. And the same thing happened over here. There's a spell book and it tells you what the spell does. And then there's a crystal, which lets you toggle auto casting. And if you switch between these really rapidly, you'd see the wrong tooltip. Well, now you don't. And that's it. That took like 3 hours to fix. So I hope your stream is better, Dino. So you were setting the text in what case? Oh yeah, we were setting overriding the tooltip text with that of a spellbook, even when the spellbook wasn't the source of the tooltip. Time well spent. So I'm very torn. We're close enough to launch. We're about 2.5 months away, where I probably shouldn't have ever touched this bug. Like those 3 hours are probably better spent toward a higher priority bug. So yeah, that's why I feel torn about this. Fix some logger and other parts. How close to launch are you for your game? So this next issue, I don't think we had a bug for. Make this more apparent. Add sounds. Consider adding this. Maybe I wrote it in extractor or item machine. Changing this, make it clear, add sounds. Okay, the last thing I'll look for is this, and then I'm giving up. No, yeah. All right, I'm giving up on that. All right, so fix issue with item machine tooltips. The lever should have had priority, but due to a Godot bug with area 2D event ordering, we were sometimes showing, how did it work? We were sometimes showing, I'll just say the wrong tooltip. It doesn't matter. I fixed this in a semi-generic way, which was very likely overkill for Skeleseller, but I kind of wanted to write this code. It was not easy. Forever, postponing a lot. There'll be iterations as a game is mostly a framework for games. I see, yeah. Yeah, so here's what I generally find, and this is not a comment on whether you're doing something wrong, but if you have a deadline, it will lead to prioritization, and things like fixing this tooltip issue, they shouldn't get done if you only have a limited amount of time. Hey, Nautic. Do you ever play music on stream? No, I don't, unless it's my own music. Every once in a while, I'll make music or I'll play the game's music, which I made. So like, yeah, every once in a while that stuff will be playing, but in general, it's not. And since the music I made for this game is only like 5 tracks, I can't just play that on repeat and not go insane. All right, so we're gonna commit this. And then I want to post this somewhere. Yeah. It's totally fine to ask, yeah. I tend to have commands for almost everything, so it's very easy for me to answer these questions. So this is all done. All of this stuff. And we need to write a note in here and write a note about that. Godot UI, click. You're doing things wrong. Okay, so maybe we'll write this note at the end. Oh man, this is a mess. Okay, well, let's write it here, I suppose. Keep in mind that collision shape 2D does not preserve or does not ensure any ordering of events. See this issue. This issue being this. These should also be like that. Okay. Like right now, I spent a week creating custom logger add-on so I could log into file over network. Yeah, and it's fun to do that stuff. And I think if you are making a framework for games, it'll probably pay off in the future. I think the problem is, like, let's say you were making, whatever, Super Mario 64, right? So Super Mario 64 has, whatever, 12 levels or something like that, 120 stars. It's a whole game. So now imagine that the trees don't shed leaves correctly or something. This shouldn't get fixed. It just shouldn't. It's like you're not making this for a suite of games. You're making it for one game. You have business needs that have to be met. It's like just take leaves out of the game or something. But when you don't have a deadline or when you want to work on something or when you're making a framework or you're making an engine, it's worth fixing those things. Hey, Tim. How's the marketing going? Okay, so what I'd like to do is push this and then get a link to this. I don't know how you do this exactly. Oh, Tim, hey, thanks for the raid. Yeah, I saw yesterday you were working on marketing stuff. I am curious how that's been going for you. I am also curious, and I hope this does not sound pointed, but are you counting the marketing as part of your 100 days? Hey, X29, hey, Jost. Big number display for incremental. When you say big number, you mean like arbitrarily large number? Scientific notation numbers sort of thing? Because I always find that kind of interesting from a performance perspective for a lot of incremental games, that you end up doing like, 1E 36 damage. And how do they track this in the back end? Excuse me. They could store the almost exact numbers and actually do the addition, but it seems like a waste if all you really care about is like the top, n order of magnitude significant digits. Are you doing actually marketing Rush Incremental in a meaningful way, which is not yesterday? Gotcha. Yeah. What have you learned so far with your marketing stuff? Are you willing to share anything? Because I've learned a lot when it came to like email outreach. And I think personalization really helps. And I think a picture really helps. Because I think my response rate has been pretty high. But then again, response rate does not equal success rate. You can get 100 influencers to respond to you, and it doesn't mean that your game is all of a sudden successful. Yeah, 33 days marketing, 1 day release. Yeah. Imagine you get done with all this stuff and you're like, oh no, I needed a day and a half to release. Yeah, numbers of letters in them. Yeah. Well, we just did something kind of interesting over here. Well, interesting from a code perspective. The actual result was not all that interesting, which is that now when you're pointing at this, it shows you with the right tooltip, and we're pointing at this, it shows you the right tooltip, and no matter how fast you mouse between these things, it will always show you the correct one. So yay. That took a long time. All right, can I canonically link to a branch? Yeah, this. I think we can just get this and get the canonical link here. Does that work? It doesn't work. I guess because it's a commit link. I want to link to a specific file though. No, I guess just this whole commit. I guess you can generally work around this just by tracking priorities yourself. I made a generic hover prioritizer that I hopefully wrote about in that issue. But the source, like the origin, is this private link. Yeah. Why old year? Because it's still 2025. If you fail to release in time, you lose and delete the whole project and start anew. Are we still fighting the tools? No, that's done. Now I'm just thinking of how much should I write in here about what I did to fix this? Because someone in the future might find this helpful. If we're going to do that, I think what we should do is copy this into a gist on GitHub. New gist. Just description. A workaround system for, well, let's paste this in before I forget. For this Godot issue. Hover prioritizer.cs. Is that an open source game? No. This is closed source. I'll extend it as necessary to get quality to snuff. Yeah. Yeah. How stressed are you, Tim? Does this feel like a higher level of stress or normal level of stress? So now what do we click here in terms of buttons? Public or secret? I think secret. Yeah. Because I'm going to share the link, but I'd rather people have a link to it than it just showing up in search results. And I'll just say, note, I wrote this for Skeleseller. And I may eventually, and yeah, I don't plan on keeping this up to date. Well, I should say this gist up to date. Anything else? It works for my case. Comment. Stress about money, not stress about the game. Call this normal level of stress. Gotcha. You hear that, chat? Twitch has a way of gifting, I think, 1,000 subs at once now. Just go to Tim's channel, click that button a few times. Don't look at your bank account. Everything will be okay. For posterity, I encountered this issue in my own game, and I created a hover prioritizer class for tooltips. I figured I'd share since someone may find this useful for their game. The code is in C#. Okay, there, done. I'm not going to think about this anymore. We're finished. Now we move on. Take all of Bezos's money and use it to make games. You know, it's kind of crazy because like even hyper wealthy people with like billions, when you start spreading their money out across a large group of people, it doesn't really amount to too much. So like, I don't know how much Bezos has, right? I guess we could just look that up. Jeff Bezos net worth. So 244 billion, and then like number of people in the world. All right, so 244 divided by 8.2, like everyone would get about $29, which is not nothing. And for some people, that would probably be a significant amount of money. And we're not talking about every single person in the world. We're talking about game devs, right? But still, if you take 244 billion and you say that there are, I don't know, like 1 million game devs or something, it's like that money probably wouldn't significantly change a whole lot for people. I guess you wouldn't allocate it equally to everybody. You do some like epic mega grant thing where you give it based on needs and then you have some overhead costs and everything. I know this whole thing was a joke anyway, but I think about that from time to time. Like, oh hey, what if there was $100 million found in a budget somewhere and they were like, let's give it to everyone in the US, and it's like, well, now it works out to almost no money. Haha, yes, a joke. I think we need more opinions about fans in here. All right, so farm needs a drop-off area. This is what Dark had suggested, and it was specifically for the extractor here. I think so that if you put potions in, like you could put a potion on the farm and it would put it over to here. I think that's probably reasonable. As long as we don't need another string for it. Yeah. Am I the one doing the art? No, definitely not. I'm very, very bad at art. You can check out the credits there to see who's doing that. All right, so why am I able to... Oh, because of the fish? Wait, what am I doing? I want to try dragging an armor item here. The extractor only accepts potions. The chef's time only accepts food. Oh, man. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. If I make a drop zone for the farm, it's really going to be a drop zone for the extractor. Wait, can't I... How do I do this? No, get rid of the seeds. Let's load the game. Hey, Kareem. We took every billionaire's money and distributed it to the world's population? That would be something? Yeah, that would probably be something. So you move extractors drop off area. That's what I'm thinking. There's no, I think, easy way of doing this. Wait, shouldn't this... Yeah. Yeah, so we can just expand the rectangle, but we wouldn't know where it's supposed to line up exactly. Oh, wait, no, but we need to only do that for the farm. Or we, well, for one, this is not worth focusing on for right now. So I'm gonna file this as an issue. Add an item drop zone for the farm. Dark suggests this on 8/2/25. Dark suggested this on 8/2/25. The issue is pretty straightforward. The only two problems are we can't like easily expand the extractors drop zone since it's in its own scene and it's used by the key grinder as well. Well, no, that I guess we could do. As opposed to being on the farm. Actually, that's not even true either, is it? Can't I just make this thing unique? No, it's not there on the farm. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Chef Alton, thank you. Thanks for getting that sub. And hey, Maya. That is not QWERTY. No, I'm using Colmac. So I have QuiffPib as the top. That's my left half of the keyboard. This one scene as opposed to being in the farm scene. And the other thing is, if we add the drop zone to the farm, we'll probably want a new string for it, and it would need to be localized. I don't think this is very high priority, though. Issue is a high priority issue, though. I also don't think we shouldn't do it. Must suck to use a different keyboard. It's actually not too bad. Your muscle memory kicks in. When I switch, so I use my laptop from time to time, and it has a QWERTY keyboard, and I game on a QWERTY keyboard. By the way, it's practically impossible to use proper WASD controls because if we look at this again, I have WASD on the left hand, but you can see it forms like an N shape here. So it's very tough to use. But yeah, when I switch to a QWERTY keyboard, it's not too terribly bad. If I finally have all strings, you probably warn people there may be hints of LLMs. Yeah, I'll save that for a little bit later. Rami hit this in his log, possibly an intro. Hard to say since no surrounding lines gave extra info. You clean up, figure out what the cleanup option is. This is in the intro. And there is, okay, so here's the thing. There's an animation player somewhere. I don't know where. Huh, that's weird. Where is it? We don't do anything in this scene with an animation player? Whoops, I didn't mean to click that. Huh, we don't. It's all through tweens. Wow, okay, well, whatever. Fine, let's go look at the next one. So in here, yeah, so there's a function somewhere. Where is it? Clean up animation, no undo. So let's try this out. It says there's no undo, but we can just undo through, what does this do? Trim keys placed in negative time. Trim keys placed exceed the animation length. Remove invalid keys, remove unresolved and empty tracks, clean up all animations. All right, let's click this and just see what happens. It changed nothing. Okay. Well, it's got to be one of these scenes that has a problem, right? So if it's not for that one, then it must be this one or the other one because there's only 3. Clean up animation. I wonder what optimize does. Okay, that also had no effect. Let's try the final one here. Huh, none of them had any effect. I wonder if we need to pick a different track for it to do anything. Did that do anything? No. What about this? No. Why are none of these having an impact? I don't know if it just so happens that this bug was fixed or if I needed to click these. I'll try this. This is the final thing I need to click. And then we know that there wouldn't be, and nothing got changed. We all know Adam hates all video games. So non-QWERTY and split keyboard. Why still Mac and not Linux? Yeah, Flare, type the command for that. All right, I don't know how this could have been a problem. I also kind of wonder, what does this do? Optimize. Max velocity error, max angular error. What does this mean? Well, I'll just click it to see what happens. Still nothing. All right, well, I am starting to not care about this. What if we set this to 5? I just want to see if this can even do anything. Max precision error 1. Optimize. Yeah, I see no impact for any of this. So let's just reload the whole project just to make sure we didn't break anything. Close every scene, I guess. Or no, maybe play through here. No tooltips on those labels. There might be. I am not going to go back to that. I didn't really feel like we needed to optimize the animations anyway. Yeah, okay. Well, that's it. We're not going to look at that anymore. Use this graphic. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. All right, so this one's pretty simple. And I think we might have an issue for this. No. Exclamation mark. Exclamation. Just an exclamation mark like that? No, none of these show up. All right, so Quickie Joe made this graphic with a bunch of exclamation marks, and they spin around and they get bigger and smaller. And here's what they look like animated. So if I were a quest giver in your life, it would look like this. I'd have to move slightly to the side. There we go. Hello, traveler. So yeah, I think we should probably use this. And it should be pretty simple because I'm pretty sure we have available action indicator and we can just change this in here. This is text that has a script that has a million tweens on it. Do you need some rats in a basement slate? No, Abby's got that taken care of. However, I do need 14 cheese wheels. And once you complete that, I will give you an equally worthless quest. But what should your reward be? I know a point. We can turn them into experience points. What level are you right now? Blair, level 1. Well, you could probably level up from that. Okay, so yeah, let's go use this. Save as... I kind of want to put this under icons. It could also go under UI. Let's put it under... Oh, it could also go into world, actually. Or even characters. Where are all the places that we use this? Available action indicator. It shows up in more places than I thought. Intro, NPC, Enchanter, Recycler. So it's kind of a character thing. But I'm thinking about this too much. Let's just put it somewhere. It doesn't matter where. Let's put it in UI. Okay, exclamation. That sounds fine. Save. Done. My point, please. Those are not wheels, though. Unfortunately, those are just slices. I must now take an experience point from you. You go back to level 0. You forget how to cast Fireball. You can no longer defeat enemies. So what used to be a label now needs to change into an animated sprite 2D. Hope this doesn't cause any problems. And then I think we just get rid of the script entirely. Is there any reason to keep this? Probably not. Is that like a steering wheel on a ship? I'm not actually going to give you a point, but I would if I were a quest giver. All right, so available action indicator is going to get deleted. Available action indicator, delete this. Dependency, yeah, just remove it, detach the script from here. All right, now we set up our sprite. So we got to find the size of this thing. Where'd I put it? UI? Yeah, there it is. All right, so we set this to just whatever, 800. There we go. And then what's the size of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I think 15? I don't know. I might have done that wrong. 14 squared is 196 though, right? Yeah, so I'm not totally sure. I'm not sure what size this should be because it's 198. No, it's 795. 795 divided by 15? 53. Okay, that's probably correct. Let's just type 53 in here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Select all. Done. Okay, so now let's look at the animation in the game. So that should be faster for sure. And it should probably spin for longer. How did he do it? It goes pretty fast up, pauses, spins, and then pretty fast down. Yeah. So pretty fast upward. So let's set this to 0.5. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Where does the spinning start? Are these 3 frames the same? I think they are. Yeah, I think these two are exactly the same, right? No, they're not. The shadow changes. So this is it starting to spin then. So I want to pause in that frame. Got it. All right, so we get up to here and we set this to like 0.5, I don't know what. And then we stop on the full frame. So frame duration there is going to be like 5. Then it spins. And then we stop on this frame. Okay, so let's try that. Yeah, I want it to go downward faster. Oh yeah, right, of course. This should be 0.5. And then it should stop on here maybe for 5 times. Is that how this is supposed to look? Did it spin twice? 1, 2. Yes, it does. Okay, we want it to spin twice too. The Quickie Joe special? Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, so the spin, does it shrink in between that? Oh, it goes up then down. Okay, I see. I messed this up too. Okay, so this is not 5. This is 0.5. And then it goes down to here and stops. Wait, am I still doing it wrong? I think it might go down to this. Okay, so now the spin. Do. So we duplicate all of these frames. And then we move these frames here. Oh, I don't know if that worked. I don't know what that did. Can I undo? Yeah. All right, let's just put these toward the end. How do you even do this? There. All right, then this does not get a 5. This gets a 1. Oh, they're going up again. Why is that? No, here it rotates smoothly. I think I copied the wrong frame somehow. And the frame rate on these spinning ones should be faster. But yeah, I'm using the wrong frame. Because you can see it go up, up. So I think we need to copy this one. And then put this here and delete this and set this to 1. Yeah, but then it goes up again at the end. So then copy that again, I guess. And put this here and delete this and set this to 5. And then speed up the spinning. All right, I think we got it. How does that look compared to this? This is faster over here. Yeah, I think they look pretty close. Okay, either way, even if these don't match exactly, I think this looks good for the game. So now we just try running the game and see what happens. They might just render correctly. They might be comically large. They might be invisible. Not sure what's going to happen. Do we see them anywhere? I guess I don't have anything where it would show. Oh, that broke. That super broke. Object not set to an instance of an object. Unable to cast animated sprite to label. Oh, yeah, right. Of course. So where's this coming from? Canvas item. I'm trying to find where our code is in here. Oh, node extensions does it. 47. 47 doesn't even exist. Oh, NPC. There it is. Whoops. Yeah, got it. Okay, so available action indicator. So anywhere we use this, which is literally only here apparently, we change this to an animated sprite. The most used function in this code, probably get node or yeah, tr for translations. Get node shows up 568 times. TR is 291. Translate is 1055. Yeah, it's probably translate. That's my guess. But I'm not actually going to go figure it out. That's close enough. All right, available action indicator. This is going to be an animated sprite. Why do we even do this? We just do it for visibility, right? This can just be a node then. What did I mess up? Does not contain a definition for visible. Okay, fine. Node 2D. Node really doesn't have visibility? I guess not. What was that? Gigantic amount of words. Oh, I think those are from other code. Use exports to connect nodes. Probably Unity leftover. Okay, so this is not working, but I think it's probably there and just really, really tiny. Because I had to do something special with these fonts. Yeah, the transform is set to a very tiny scale. So now it's set to a much larger scale. And we would see it, except for I am not starting through Godot, and now I am. All right, so I still don't see it. Is it showing anywhere in the world? No. Let's go make the farm. Yeah, no, we should see it for all of these. And none of them are showing up. Did I mess something up? Should I have the nearest filter? It looks blurry when zooming. It should have the nearest filter. Oh, yeah, you're right. Good call. Nice catch. Yeah, it was text before, so it did have linear, which we could just set this to inherit and it should be fine. I wonder if I would have noticed that. All right, but we're still not seeing this in the world. I got to figure out why that's happening. Oh, maybe because these also have a scale set on them? No, they don't. I don't see it, though. Oh, are they off in the middle of nowhere? If I zoom out far enough, will I see this? It thinks it's here. And yet it's invisible. Huh, strange. Oh, because I don't have it set to autoplay. And the first frame is invisible. Tisk, tisk, Adam. Tisk, tisk. Thanks, hard worker. All right, now I think we're going to see some exclamation marks. Yeah, they're gigantic. You're never going to miss those. Okay, so where did we have them before? Because I want them to be aligned to sort of where they were before. I don't have an easy way of doing this unless I get stash. Or maybe if we go look at... I could just open the game from here. Yeah. We adding juice? Well, we're adding a graphic in. This is worthwhile. So if I continue, we should be able to take a picture of the old style. Yep, here we go. Let's wait until they've zoomed in a bit. There we are. All right, so this is what they used to look like. Boring yellow exclamation marks. Now we have our cool, exciting exclamation marks. And everywhere that we will use this, we probably need to shrink it dynamically. So for this one, for example, we just hit play. So we want this to be up here and definitely smaller, 0.25 maybe. 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 is pretty good. That's nice, right? Yeah, I like that. All right, so NPC was one of them. Intro accept quest is another one. We got to go look at that. Intro accept quest. You are here. And you are probably also gigantic. No, where are you showing up? Oh, does it have a modulate set or something? No, it doesn't. What am I missing? Oh, it's there, but really, really tiny? Oh, it's on their nose. I don't know if you want to complete a nose quest. Okay, let's chase it. Oh, I should probably go check the intro. Yeah, let's do that. All right, get ready for a picture. So this one showed the upper left. So yeah, let's move you up here. Actually, we put it just above. Is that better? Because don't they... No, skip this. I don't care. I want to see that again. Why sort messes them up? I got to take a look at that. Because yeah, I hadn't thought of that. It just fades out. Okay. So quit this. Whoops. Yeah, I think you can go above them. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, where else? Enchanter, Recycler. Why do they have specific ones? Oh, they just move it. That's gonna be annoying. Enchanter. Where is the enchanters? Exclamation mark. Here it is. Is this fine? Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, and the recycler. Garbage slime. Here. Okay, this one we might want to move a little bit. Yeah, we might want to move that like there. But then wouldn't the chef slime have it in the wrong position? Yeah, no, we should move this one too. Okay, so now we run into a problem where... Oh, that's gigantic. Although maybe that is no longer gigantic. Now we run into a problem with Y sorting. Actually, we probably just need to change the Z layer of this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then when you click it, it goes away. Neat. All right, so yeah, Y sorting. What are we looking at here? Is there a problem with this? I think it looks fine. Is it rendering like on top of characters? So if I buy this and then I go make a bunch of items and then add workers, what do they do when they go behind this? No, that looks fine. Yeah, I think we're okay here. I saw it appearing below a blue flower. Well, let's look at all the places where it can show up. Yeah, that's a problem. I wonder how we want to change this, because I could just set it's ordering one higher. Is that still an issue now? It is? How? Bulletin board. Huh. Yeah, how's that? Maybe I just need to restart this. 9999. It's gonna show on top of the UI. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so that should fix any issues with it showing up above a flower. And then the only other place we have to do this is look at the intro. But we can't skip the intro right now, or we can't go into the intro unless I set this to false. Classic CSS fix. Important, very important, most important. All right, so let's watch good old Gil, the guild master, give us a quest. Time for my first adventure. Oh yeah, look at that. that's actually kind of problematic. We need to start further along in the animation. Yeah, because this pops up, but it's not really timed all that well with the intro. How do we fix this? How do we fix that? We could make this a totally different set of sprite frames. Or we change the frame? I don't know if that's going to work. Let's try that. Hey, Tay. So the problem is this. Once we get into the next scene, which I think is always there, this is showing an exclamation mark, but then it fades out. Well, actually, that's not too bad. Excuse me. Was that bad? I don't know. How do I feel about that? YouTube banner should probably get an update soon. Oh, the Adam Learns bit in the back. Yeah, I probably should. We could change the speed scale on this particular one. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Let's try it out. I'm actually not totally sure how you do this. Maybe you just change it here. Then we need to make this unique. If I set this to 2, does it change every single NPCs to 2? No, it doesn't. Okay, that might work. I know. That's stupid entitled kid showing up, learning how to drive, getting millions of views. He's gonna be my arch nemesis. No, that looks perfect. Perfect. Love it. That's great. Fantastic. Okay, so does this show up anywhere else? Recycler, NPC, available action. Yeah, nice. That's it. Beginning state. Oh, also in the tutorial? Is that right? Yeah, it's also in the tutorial. So we got to go look at that. Town tutorial. Still doesn't have one to jump directly to his channel. Yeah, I probably should do that. Actually, wait. Oh, right. I have one to jump to YouTube Studio. Actually, what was live stream? Oh, wow. I have that right on my page and as a shortcut. I use this every day, but I used to start a live stream. I didn't realize it was the same as the current live stream. Well, well, well. Now we know. Thank you, Matt. All right, so we build the guild. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. All right, cool. Yeah, I love this. This is great. Yeah, this is really great. Oh, why is that frame 7? That should be frame 0, which then shouldn't exist. Did that do anything? It didn't do anything. How do I not mess this up? Ah, there we go. Okay, so hold on. I need to look at all the other ones and make sure I didn't screw that up somewhere else either. What frame is this set to? Frame progress is set to some random amount. Okay. Don't know how that's possible. Let's just save that. Nice, that's gone. All right, intro accept quest. That one is set to 0.0. Intro accept quest. Available action indicator, stop, save. Good. NPC is also set to 0. Go find that, stop, save. Chef slime set to some random number. This doesn't really matter what I'm doing, but it makes me feel good. Oh, actually, it also makes it harder to see in the editor, I just realized. So this is actually probably a bad thing that I'm doing right now. Enchanter lost its available action indicator? That seems like a mistake. Yeah, that definitely seems like a mistake. What happened there? Oh, it's just no longer overridden, so nothing needs to happen. And then recycler handled. Now we got rid of. NPC now has this, and town is not supposed to be checked in. All right, use Quickie Joe's graphic. This looks great. Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate workflow optimizations. All right, cool. Should reported frame drops at the end of the demo on the Steam Deck. We'll look at that in a bit. Release tool should increment the minor version. If we're ever going to save migrations, we should probably test them with playtesters. This one I actually do want to do. What time is it? 11:07. Okay, I think we're going to tackle this change, publish a demo, and then probably call it. Publish the, not the demo. Wait, yeah, also the demo. Publish the demo and playtest versions after this. So the release tool should increment the minor version when asking which build you want, not use the existing number. Most of the time I want to bump it by 1. All right, how do we do this? Release tool program. It's not called program. Prompt for build flavor, look up version, prompt for new version. Here it is. Actually, this should be really easy, right? Take the current Xen version, current version of game, new version. What do you want the new version to be? Default value is current version. Okay, default value should be like current version dot increment add minor. I don't know what you do for this. Oh, it's a string. Oh, I see. And we override this anyway? What? Oh, because we parse it here? Oh, this is so stupid. Yeah, this is really stupid. All right, so sem version, next minor version equals without pre-release or metadata with patch 0 with minor, and then print that out. Is there a way to like two-string this thing? I don't know about the with patch 0 bit, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, this might work. How do we test this? Because I have a whole bunch of protections in place to stop this from happening. Prompt for build flavor. So maybe we get rid of this. That one's fine. Then don't do anything after this. I just want a prompt for the version. Yeah, all right, let's try that now. Wow, this is going to be a nice little quality of life change for myself. It'll save literal seconds of time over the course of my life. All right, what do you want to release? Sure, demo. Current version is 8.11. It's trying to bump to 9. No, that's wrong. Was it major minor patch? Yeah, I messed that up. All right, so with patch 0 is wrong. It's with patch cur sem ver dot patch +1. And then just delete this. And rerun that. Nice. That's what I want. And what if we run this for the... Whoop, that didn't work. What if we run this for the playtest? Should pretty much worked like how you'd expect. Perfect. Yeah, cool. Cool. Yeah, very nice. Well, that was an easy change. I expected that to take longer for some reason. But I'm very happy with that. Suggest next patch version from release tool. It used to suggest the current version, which is rarely what I wanted. All right, so publish the demo and the playtest versions. Let's go do that. Monday, we're done with Monday. Journal, we're not going to localize those. Publish new version of playtest, demo, and playtest. Playtest has outro fixed. Demo has new exclamation marks. All right. So yeah, let's go sync this. Complete miscellaneous to-do items. What did we do here? I don't know. I'm just going to down. Suggest next patch, new graphic, fix issue with tooltips, change name of function. Oh, font sizes, yeah. Affordability dot, fix bug with dragging items. What was this? Oh, yeah. Kind of minor. That's a nice little performance improvement. Yeah. There's no unifying pattern for these commits. I was just going through my to-do list, tackling like seemingly random items. Yeah, create. Okay, so now we merge this. And now we push a bunch of versions, right? Yeah. So switch back to main. Did I write anything about merging this branch? Then we should probably try the game. Close, reload. Come on. And I would like to sit down. Been standing for too long. So we build something, we see the new exclamation mark. Pretty nice. Goes away forever. Oh, that shows for what? Why does it show for those NPCs? Oh, that's a problem. I guess. Uh-oh. Glad we looked at that. How did I just change that behavior? This must have been hidden by default. Yeah, it must have been hidden by default. Okay. Well, it's an easy fix. We just click that. And now I think it should be fixed everywhere. It's a good thing I looked at it. Yep. So it's gone from here. It should be on everything else. So if I just click grant most things and then we build everything. There's on the chef slime, Fiona, Finn. I don't think this ever had it. This never had it. Enchanter should have it. Yep. This probably does up there. Yeah. And is that it? I think that's it. I'll build everything though, just in case. Yeah. So it's only on the NPCs where if you click them, it should go away forever. And you, and you, and you. So now there are none visible, right? Yeah. I don't think you can ever make them visible again either. Just kind of the whole point. Okay, well, good. Good that I realized that. I guess as long as we're doing this, let's run the UID tool. Whoops, I don't know what I just clicked. Wait, before I do this, let's click that button. Okay. Prevent this from showing on shopkeepers. Now we wait. There we go. Any changes? None. Okay, sync that. And now we can do the release. Release instructions. Make sure you're on main, set git config, global. We already did that. Set these environment variables. All right. We'll do that after. We're going to publish a demo first. It doesn't need any environment variables. Yeah. All right. So demo, new version 0812. Sure. Okay, let me get my chair. I have to like maneuver it around the green screen. So the release process is pretty straightforward. It's alive and well. Nice, 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 nice. Glad nothing blew up over there. The only thing we got to figure out is what changed for the demo. Because I think it's very little. Demo December 12th. Oh boy, that's a lot of stuff. Fix waving flag. How do we fix this? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that technically affects the demo. Fix waving flag. Make it clearer when the demo ends. Make it clearer when the demo ends. Wait, that should have already been in there though, because didn't I? Yeah, I pushed a new. Excuse me, I pushed a hotfix. So I don't think any of that stuff matters. Fix bug with button text. What is this? It said upgrade when buying a treasure chest. That shouldn't affect the demo. Not calling accessor functions. Was this on anything that mattered? Accelerator generation, that's for Mushy, and that's for hiring somebody. That might have been a problem. I don't know. I don't think any of this matters. Oh, rebinding controller. Yeah, we pushed a new thing for that too, I think. Can you see when this was last edited? Edit event. Last updated December 18th. Yeah, I was going to say, these things made it in. Yeah, that was all on December 18th. Okay, same thing with the battle formatting. I'm guessing we fixed that too. I said outro, attempt to fix dialogues. Oh yeah. Dialogue should appear in the right positions and changed the text into a pixel art graphic. Hey, Codex. Yeah, I've like purged that from my memory. You want to upload to Steam? Yes. All right, we can test out this build if we want to. Let me just close out of everything we have open here. Open Mac exported build. Oh, wait. Before we do this, let's skip this. Let's turn on the sound. I want to make sure nothing's going wrong in the starting bits of the game. Oh, yeah. That looks great. Oh, it kind of tries popping up again after that. Oh, well. Very minor. I'm not going to rebuild this for that, but I should try to fix that issue. write this over here. The intro quest scene shows the animation twice. We should make sure it stops after the first time. Just disable autoplay, or just disable repeat on that specific one. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to rebuild for that. All right, let's see if this stuff's working correctly. You should see the exclamation mark. This one should definitely play on repeat. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, patch notes. Let's go make some new patch notes. Where'd the text go? Post on Steam. Click this. Open. Any plans to implement tests? Maybe automated testing? At this point, no, I don't think so. I just don't think it's going to make much of a difference for launch. Post-launch, it could be helpful. Where's the thing? Oh, here. Here we go. Can I copy this? All right, default preview. What version is this? 0.8.12. Okay, now I gotta set it live. Steam. Sorry, I gotta do this on my phone. Done. All right, so the demo is now live. Now we just gotta write some patch notes. Game update. This one's pretty small. Minor demo improvements. 0812 patch notes. Yeah, all we did are these things. Hi again. Just a reminder that the full version of the game is what's getting the most updates, which is, but it's not public on Steam yet. As such, we only have a few minor items regarding demo improvements. Does this even work here? I don't know if that's even gonna function. If I hit preview event, no, that doesn't work. They changed their editor. There we go. I don't know if this even made it in. I'm just gonna delete that. No, you know what? I don't even think we really need to post patch notes. Maybe. On Windows. Fixed the waving flag on top of the guild. It used to wobble. Dialogue should now appear in the correct positions on Windows as opposed to at the top of the screen. How do I get out of a bulleted list? Oh no, this is so difficult. There we go. All right. Please consider joining Discord, the Skelesolid Discord. Okay. Hey, Pretzel. Merry old year. So if I delete this, yeah, that works. All right. It's not public on Steam. As such, we only have a few minor items regarding demo improvements. Fix the waving flag on top of the guild. It used to wobble. Okay, now for a picture for this, what I'd like to do is get... I can't cheat because this is the real demo. And otherwise it's going to take a really long time. So how about this? Let's just quit this. And show it in the normal game. No, I got to publish the playtest version and then write some patch notes. But we're kind of close to ending the stream. Oh, this won't work. Yeah, this won't work. Because I need to set environment variables first. All right, engage privacy mode. Give me a sec. Metrics. There we go. Gotta clear out my clipboard and any proof that I'm doing anything here. Clear and run. Whoops. Oh, that did not work. Okay. Got it. All right. So we should just publish this. I think I wanted to put a picture in though, and I can't get a picture unless I start up the full version. So I gotta wait for this. Hey, Dexter Morgan. Using AI to enhance it. You'll get all my secrets. There was an interesting thing I read recently where like blurring text is not the best way to obscure what was in that text. And that I already knew, but the technique you would use to figure out what was in the blurred text is pretty interesting. Because you can basically try a whole bunch of combinations to see how different text would get blurred. But with a 50 by 50 screen, I do kind of wonder if you'd be able to tell anything. Maybe you would. But I think so much information is lost. Right? 1920 times 1080. And then 50 by 50 would be what, 2500? So you have 0.12% of the screen to be able to tell what's going on. Ever fixed a bug in the demo or in that older release game and then push the change to Steam or Itch without testing it? Probably. Like, I can imagine some text changes that it wasn't worth testing it out, but it's hard for me to recall exactly. All right, so here's what I want to get for the picture. I want to open this up. I just want to take a picture of the guild master with an exclamation mark above their head. Oh, why is it starting? Oh, because it's the full thing. Yeah, got it. All right, well, thankfully it's right here. So there, we're done. I just want a picture of this. Nope. It was spinning. I want it when it's up there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and then what size does it need to be? Cover art. Where's cover art? Cover image. This one's required, right? Yeah. 800 by 450. Okay, and what did I get? Something gigantic. So, how do I fix this? Oh no, I do want that set. 800. Resize. It filtered it. Whoops. I want it to filter it. I don't think you can turn this off. Can you? Oh no, you can't. Yeah, how do you do this? I guess, yeah, I want to set to none. There's a way to, I don't know how you do this. Is there no way to resize an image in Affinity without pixel art document? They have 2, 3, and 4. Really? I don't know how you do this. What do I use for screenshots? Shotter? Affinity resize image without filter. All these steps. Open the image. Resize document. Input new width and height. Change units. Uncheck resample. Wait, well, when you uncheck resample, though, it doesn't resize it anymore. I set this to 800. I uncheck resample, and it goes back to that. Can I hit resize anyway? No. What am I supposed to do? I don't get it. I also actually I don't really get the point of this entire dialogue if you have resample off. Oh, you just can't do it in pixels? Are you kidding me? What? That's got to be a bug, right? I can pick other measurements, none of which I know how to use. But I can't use pixels. Hey, Augie. Yeah, this just has to be a problem, doesn't it? So I just had to press it down on this until I get to, let's just set the 900, what happens? Wait, what? Is the same number of pixels? Is it changing the DPI? Oh my god, I have no clue what I'm doing. Alright, whatever. Let's... It's so weird. Let's just use GIMP. There's got to be a way to do that, right? Like maybe, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, over here, scale image. We just set this to 800 and then turn this off. And there we go. And now we paste that in here. Nice. And then we change the canvas size so that's 800 by 450. And center it, I guess. Easy. Wow, easy. Only 400 steps. All right, so what is this, like cover 08 something? Oh wait, 12, I think. Yeah, oh wait, 12. Where'd that dialogue go? I'll never find it again, will I? Oh, it wasn't in GIMP. That's my bad. All right, so quit out of this. Don't ever touch that again. Go over to here, select our file. Cover. Incorrect size. Are you kidding me? All right, whatever. Open image resizer. Apparently this lets me do this. So we just do that. I didn't realize this was a thing. Wait, so I could have just... Oh my god. Steam's gotten so much better. Except that this is off the screen and you can't zoom in. You can't scroll. That's kind of a problem. All right, so is it done? Do we have our cover image? Yeah. So could I have just done what I was originally talking about? Like, could I have just taken a picture of the whole thing and then saved that? Testeroni. And then tried using that as our image? Select. Resize. Oh my goodness. You can do it. I don't think Steam used to do this. I think this is pretty new within the last like 3 months. And I knew about this tool, but I didn't realize it could even do the zooming stuff too. I mean, I also didn't realize it could do the cropping, but that I probably knew about at some point. All right, anyway, I think we just publish this now, right? Preview, publish. Publish. Cool. All right, now I just got to make the playtest version public. That has a different version number. And that version number is 0923. 0923. Set build live. Go to my phone. Do all this stuff. Okay. And now we write patch notes for that. Patch note time. So when was the last playtest version that I did? Playtest news. Here. December 18th at 11:18 a.m. Was that this? 5:12 p.m. Is the current version broken? It would certainly seem that way. Huh. It would certainly seem that way. Yeah, all right. Well, it'll be fixed now. Copy that. Okay, major changes. What do we actually do? I don't want to write a lot of these things down unless it actually matters. Oh yeah, added the outro. Added the outro. There is now a cutscene at the end of the game. If you've been watching development on Twitch, you've probably seen this 50 times already. And then just this one. Yeah. Fixed positioning. Actually, pretty much all the patch notes we had over here, right? Where'd that go? Here, close. Description, copy. Cool. Anything else? All the stuff in here. Stop loading all scenes. Oh, I forgot to mention this. This did affect the demo too. I should probably just modify this really fast. Where'd that go? Here. Improved loading by like 15%. Improved loading times. Slightly. I'll just do that. God, you know, no, I'm not going to do this at all because this thing is fighting me. Improved loading times by not always loading the intro, outro, and some totally unused scene. What else? Fix bug with dragging items. That's here. Where's copy link? There we go. Fixed this issue with dragging items. Yeah, cool. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Fix some issues with tooltips, extractor, key grinder, and enchanter spells, where they would show stale information if you moved the mouse too quickly between tooltip elements. And that's it. I'll delete the what to focus on. I don't think I care about that. Excuse me. So we posted some playtest news. Yay. Yay. We did it. That means it's journal time. Is it going to film the date for me? Oh, that took a long time. All right, so worked on... I actually mostly worked on fixing a tooltip issue. Published new versions of the demo and playtest. Cool. Quick thing? Yeah, sure. And then I think I'm going to get going. Is your back okay? No, it's not doing very well. You should make a copy for 2026 before ending. Make a copy of what? The journal? Because I'm just going to add a new year at the bottom here. There's 2024, 2023. So I'll just put in a new tab for 2026. Well, we'll do that on Thursday, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to go raid Clonk. I think he's just starting. Yeah, I think he's just starting a stream. You didn't journal before 2023? This is just for when I return to streaming. And I returned to streaming on December 4th. First stream back. So before that, I was at Google. But yeah, thank you all for watching. So yeah, today was pretty good. Tomorrow, I think it's just going to be a morning stream. Because plans changed a little bit. So I'll stream in the morning. We are going to set a launch date for the game. It'll probably be in March. Thank you all, and I will see you later. Goodbye.